Okay, so basically, them toning down the heat system or kind of like adjusting it is making it, instead of being like a 65% offense and 35% defense, the game is more like 55% offense, 45% defense. Because now when you're both in heat, you take less chip damage, and when you do chip damage, so it's like you gotta be in the same state as them to fight on the even plane. And then they made it to where the buffer window for when you sidestep is better. I'm gonna show it off. Also, power crush heat engagers, which is no. What I'm saying is 65% to 35% is what it is right now, to where the game is 65% offense. Oh, you're saying it's too low. Man, so he says 80%, whatever, man. But anyway, the heat burst, the power crush heat engager is the biggest change going into season 2, in my opinion, because that will eliminate a lot of the robbery that people were facing. Like, because you have to basically, everything in Tekken is like a landmine that does a lot of damage, but then you have plus on block landmines or safe on block armor landmines. But now you don't get that big return off of doing these moves, but you still get the push away factor from it. So I want to show that off. And also they buffed up sidestep to where it looks closer to Tekken Tag 2 to me. I think with every update, they're just going to make the movement better and better. Eventually, they're going to get around to the backdash cancel movement. Watch. But let's see. So see, they're reducing the chip damage during the heat state. Overall, decrease additional chip damage when heat dash is blocked. So when you block the heat engager.
And also, you know, when
so you see, get the example on the screen. All right, so here we go.
They do get a heat engager added to a separate move that's not so overwhelming. So it's not just a down nerf. It is a nerf in essence, but they do get some other things.
はい、じゃあ、こちらも動画2つありますので、1つずつお見せします。
So we have a few videos to show you how this works now.
こちらヒートダッシュの削り量ですね。今15って出てますが、シーズン1は19減ってました。
See, there's 15 damage
so
on
this
block.
is just about the chip damage. It says 15 in this current instance, but it was 19 previously in season 1.
でさらに相手がレイジ状態の時には、こちらシーズン1では、12減ってたんですけども、見てもらうと
I wonder how they determine like how much of a notch they want to turn to say like you want to buff something or nerf something. How do they get to the number where they're like, all right, we're going to choose this number and see how this works? Is it just, I wonder if it's like a random guessing, or like say you're just adjusting the dial a little bit to see how it is in testing and see how people are going to deal with it. But I like that they're listening to feedback. Everybody be like, oh yeah, Bandai Namco or Tekken team don't be listening. They clearly be listening.
分かるように、レイジ状態で同じようなコードを食らっても、チップダメージ4、3分の1になっています。
And you can see that in season 1 it was 12 in the first instance when your opponent has rage, but now it's going to be quite reduced. So you can see if you're the one who has rage and you're being oppressed like this, then the amount of chip damage you receive is drastically reduced.
Okay, so it's not when you're in heat, it's when you're in rage. Now, yeah, when you're in rage, you take less chip damage, so you have a higher chance of staying alive when you're in rage. But I guess buffing the comeback mechanic a little bit with that.
はい、こういった変更を加えることで、もう最後に自分が有利な状態でヒートダッシュで相手に近寄って有利な状況から2択でフィニッシュっていったものが、かなり試合の後半に至っては、起きにくくなるように変更を加えています。
So like we were saying, as a result, seeing someone just beat the crap out of their opponent, rush them down with a heat dash, and then do a massive amount of chip damage to finish them off, should occur much less than previously.
はい、では、もう一つ、次はパワークラッシュの、パワークラッシュ付きヒート技の、変更点の動画をお願いします。
Next, we're going to show some of the changes about Power Crush and Heat Engagers.
See, Power Crush Heat Engager
今
time.
回アズセナでサンプルを持ってきました。
This to me is bigger than the chip damage change and the sidestep change. And I also think, well, outside of like, we don't know the changes to all the, what they said, 1,500 moves that they're like redoing or whatever. We don't know that yet, but at least like on the general basis, this is the biggest one.
This case is Azucena.
そうやったんだけど
See, that was this move was a Power Crush Heat Engager before. Now it's just a knockback move. So every Power Crush is just going to be a get off me move that has a drawback. Like the hers is a high, so you can duck it in launcher. Other characters, so actually a lot of the Power Crush Heat Engagers were highs. So like Shaheen, Victor, Asuzena, and then characters who had mid ones like Nina. You're not going to be able to be like, well, hold these plus frames. It's going to always be unsafe, or always be like a safe pushback.
はい、まあ、見ていただいた通りただのパワークラッシュ技になってます。
But now, like, I guess every character is going to have who loses that is going to have like a way to go into their heat engager off like a combo or something like that. Because what they demonstrated here, she can do that move, the high she just did,
So now you can see
and then
it's
go for
changed simply to
like a
only the
combo
Power Crush property
that heat
without
engages. Like
the
this move
heat
right here
engager property.
that they're about to do.
は
Not
い
that
代わ
one.
りに、
That's the power crush.
他の、ヒート発動技を用意して、このように叫ぶ。
I think everyone's going to get something like that lost the Power Crush Heat Engager. But I don't mind that. That is just like a poke and neutral. That's not, oh, here's a armor move into that.
ヒート発動に行って攻めを仕掛けたりといったようなことを変更に加えて失ったものもありますが、その分
I'm going to skip to where they show off the side steps too. So they say allow lateral movement toward the foreground from a crouching state. Oh yeah, this is also huge. I would say this is number 2. Maybe no, this is number 1. Number 2 is the power. You know what, they're tied. Forget it. But being able to sidestep while you are crouching now makes it to where like, so certain characters can like lock you into frame traps that you can't get out of depending on what side of the screen you were standing on, because you couldn't sidestep while you were crouching. But that eliminates that, and this also makes the game a little bit more fair, because when you're playing online, you can select whatever side you play on, and that creates weird interactions online, because Tekken uses this mirror system where it mirrors your input. So like if you're both playing on one player side, well, they'll make it to the whoever you're fighting against, they mirror whatever they're doing on the one player side and the two player side. But then weird stuff happens, like you'll do a move and you'll sidestep it the way you're supposed to, but because of like you guys selecting sides and having artificially like on the same side when that's not possible offline, it makes it weird. But now, because it's this universal sidestep while you're in crouch or not is definitely going to help. And then they ease the input difficulty at the start of the match, so you can buffer like a move at the start of the match, because before like people would just like lose out sometimes because they mistimed it. But with the buffer, it'll make it to where it's more in line with when the match actually starts. Let's see, we get the all right, here we are. They're going to show off the crouching state first with the dragon off.
動画で、2つお見せしたいと思います。
So Nakatsu's brought some footage to show you examples of the first two.
では1つ目、こちらはしゃがみからの横移動が出せるようになったところで、奥移動は避けれない連携が手前に行くことで避けられると。
So he's saying this is an instance of being able to crouch, to sidestep from crouch.
This also changes the dynamic of the Dragunov matchup too. Like he'll probably still be strong, but not having like that forced guess off a down 2 hitting you anymore, because you can actually move around it, is going to be good.
いや、ジンがしゃがみになってるんです。この時。
So
But this also affects Mishima's. Like if Kazuya or Heihachi do 4-4, you can sidestep both ways now. So you're gonna have to do like a true homing move to stop people or discourage people from doing that.
for example, Jin is able to go into the foreground.
入っていったところで結構慣れるまで ちょっと違和感があるかもしれないですけども、かなりしゃがみからのこの横移動の駆け引きが変わると思いますので、ぜひ、配信されたらいろいろと調べてみてください。
So this should change a lot of different things about options you might have in certain scenarios. So please check this out when it's applied.
はい、では続いて横歩きの先行入力もお見せします。
The next is kind of showing the input buffer for sidestepping.
はい、
Here, so being able to like sidestep during
先行入力
blocking
で
a string, see that's
感じになってます。
that was more difficult to do in the season 1, but being able to do it now because you can buffer the sidestep and the window, I guess, is shorter, or not shorter, but like more opened up. It's going to make it a lot better for defense overall in the game. So people can't just decide, I'm going to choose this string and abuse the string on you, and has tough ways to deal with it or counter it. Now you have a sidestep, so this makes it more in line with a lot of hardcore Tekken fans like, which is Tag 2, Tekken 6 style, Tekken 5 style sidestepping, where it really matters on when you know when to sidestep and when not, and what's coming. So people can't just do like, an easy bake string and take advantage of you and open you up on defense. Now it's like it's going to take a lot more cerebral plays to get opened up.
こちらシーズン1の時には結構タイミング測るのが難しくてちょっと食らってたりしたと思うんですけども、
Like this could take away like, string mix-ups that go into stances. So you do like poke stance into something, you probably like, let me get away from this whole entire mix-up by just removing it with movement instead of taking it.
横歩きを入力してこの
This brings Tekken back to what people are calling, real Tekken. So, hey man, people going to have to adapt and start playing real Tekken. It's like, all right, we're going to make the game scrubby at first so people will play it. And then we're going to let them see what real Tekken is like.
このように綺麗にかわせれるようになってます。
Saying this is an instance of, the relaxed window for the middle of Law's string there, where you could do it previously. It was just very difficult timing, but it's made much more easier because you can input it while you're still blocking the prior attack.
はい、以上が、バトルの大きな変更点になってます。
はい。じゃあ一回またスライドに持ってもらいましょうか。
And that's some of the major changes that we have for 2.
こういった具合で今の全体的な変更の話ですね。
But yeah, those are the most important things I think are coming to the update, and people are not talking about it enough. Like it's super, super big, especially the Power Crush Heat Engagers going. They're making the game more skillful to where you can't just like press the controller with your face and make stuff happen anymore. Like they're bringing back the difficulty to Tekken, I think, to the win condition. I mean, like learn the game and stuff, yeah, it's tough, but once you get to intermediate level and above, like the win condition, it doesn't separate the top 1% good enough. Like say it's like 10%, 1%, or then 0.01%, etc. It doesn't. The game is not doing a good job of separating that enough for the player base because of how they've homogenized stuff. But they're getting back to it, so I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to try it out. So yeah, let me know what y'all think